it depends on the word you use. If you use technical words aimed to foolish people, they can't understand. But if you use simple words aimed because you want the people to understand, the people can understand.
How would you describe in simple terms the Euro situation? All right, Jung Naiv, we're still in Rome, we're in Italy, and I have a new guest. Can you introduce yourself?
Good morning, my name is Michela Montevecchi. I'm a senator of the Italian Republic and I was elected with the Five Stars movement in 2013. I sit in the commission which takes care of school, so education, cultural properties, research, university, entertainment and sport. So quite a big commission.
So you're an Italian senator, or are you an old school politician?
No.
Are you in politics all your life?
No. I was never involved in politics directly in the institutions, in the public institutions. And so this is my first time. We are not politicians as professionals. We are all ordinary people who had the chance to enter the parliament and to try to change things.
Why did you want to change things? Isn't Italy doing great? Can't the old parties take care of the country?
Do you sometimes read papers, newspapers?
Nope.
No, so you don't know anything about what is going on in Italy?
Well, I mean, I talked to some guy about the political situation and the economic situation, and he says, like, well, it's not doing great.
Okay, in Italy we have many problems. I think that the most important one is corruption. Corruption has spread throughout our public institutions and in everyday life.
Really? How?
And the recent scandals, and by recent I mean that we are assisting to scandals from at least 4 or 5 years in a constant way, you know. And for this reason, people started to be fed up because Italians are good people, even though sometimes they are depicted as mafiosi or whatever. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of good people, of honest people who are tired and who want to change things. And we are the expression, I can say the representation of this good part of Italy who wants to raise up and to change things and to live in a society founded on honesty, on virtuous practices, and because we think we deserve to have honest parliamentarians.
So you joined a new party. Why didn't you go into one of the old parties and change those parties from within?
That's a good question. Because it is very difficult to enter the traditional parties. You have to go through to a very long trainees, okay? And it is not said that you can reach parliament if you are a free-minded person, an open-minded person. So I approached the Five Stars movement because I thought that it was the only solution. The only way to try to change things. And so I got involved and now I'm here.
So tell us about the Five Star movement. What do we have to know?
Oh, you have to know that the Five Stars movement is a movement made up of ordinary people who decided to, how can I say, to stand up from the sofa, to switch off TV, and to start to get involved in the questions, in the issues of Italy, of our community. And so they decided to be active, not to receive passively, to be fed by information and passively, you know, without doing anything. So we stand up, we started getting involved in local campaigns, for the protection of our environment, for example, for the declaration for the how do you say in English? I can't get the word now. To denounce, corruption and whatever, bribes and whatever. And step by step, we have reached Rome.
So why are you ordinary?
We are ordinary people because we are not bound. We are not.
No, you. Why
Yeah,
are
yeah.
you?
We,
Okay.
we as a movement,
Right.
we are ordinary people because we are not bound to any lobby. We are not interested in the protection of lobbies' interests. And we are all people who comes from the working world. We are working class people, most of us. And so that's.
What did you do before being a senator?
I was a teacher. I was a teacher of Italian language and Italian culture.
So that's why you were on the committee of school and all that?
Yes, of course.
So you're basically
of
an
course.
expert.
Basically, yes. Yes.
So did they listen to you because you were a teacher and you know how things are going? Like on the committee, are you one of the?
Yes, of course, because one of the principles to which we are inspired is to try to put people who comes from the field, okay, from a on-field experience, to put them in institutions so that they can put their experience in the parliament, and also because they can understand better the problems of that field, because one of the problems in Italy is that we have parliamentarians who are totally disconnected to everyday life. So they dare to talk about things without knowing them deeply. So if you don't know deeply the problem, you can't find the solution.
It's funny, like when there was a new government in Germany, like there were new ministers. They got into their ministries and they never were in that field before. We have like a defense minister who never did anything with foreign policies and defense, and there are so many other ecology and all that. Were like just here's your new post. But then they have to get into the whole job, and it takes sometimes 6 months, a year, and they tell us when we want to interview them, oh, well, let me get into this first and see how everything goes. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. It should be better, to have people who comes from the field and who know deeply what is going on in a particular working field, and who can find solution, because otherwise it is what I've said to you before. If you don't know deeply something, you can't find a solution.
Right. If you don't understand something, you can't change it.
Yeah, you can understand it, of course, but the problem is that sometimes these parliamentarians don't want to understand even.
They don't want to understand.
No, they're not.
Why?
They are not interested because most of the times, as I said, they are in the parliament to protect the interests of lobbies. They are a direct emanation of lobbies outside the parliament. So,
So they're not representative of the people, but of the lobbies?
Yeah.
So let's talk about your field. You're in the education committee. What's going wrong with the education system in Italy?
Oh my God!
Is there something wrong?
We have one of the best educational system in Europe, and it is still like that, even though in the last 20 years they have cut resources, financial resources to the field of education. Still, we have one of the best school system in Europe, and we grow up people who are very appealing to institution abroad, and indeed we feed institution abroad with our brains, you know.
But not for Italy?
And not for Italy because, of course, due to corruption, we have also a system which is not based on meritocracy. It is mostly based on friendship, to put it in a soft way, you know. So if you are a friend of a friend of a friend of someone important, you can get a job, you can get a position in a research institute, you can get a position inside university, you can aspire to have a university career, for example. But most of the time, it works like that. So this is the total frustration of meritocracy, of course. So if you have a bright mind, you are obliged to go abroad to have opportunities. But those brains were created and fed up and grown up by us.
So if you're smart enough in Italy, it's good to make friendships and connections and be friendly to everybody than to get educated.
Yeah.
It's more likely to succeed.
Yeah.
And you want to change that?
Yeah, you know, some years ago, when the Ruby case, do you know anything about Ruby and Berlusconi and Ruby and parties?
I heard of Berlusconi.
Okay, he used to organize these parties, and he used to invite these young ladies just to entertain, you know, people at the parties. Okay, and
sex parties.
Naive parties. No, not naive, sorry. Bizarre parties, you know. Okay. Exclusive ones. One of these ladies was not in the majority age. Okay.
Not 18.
Not 18.
Okay.
They suppose. So a case exploded around this fact, you know. And I don't want to enter the details, but there has been a process and there is still a process. Okay, so I can't say for sure things. But this scandal burst, you know, in Italy. And it was on TV every day at every time. At the same time, our researchers in university went up on the roof to protest because they were making the cut to the research sector, to the research field, okay? That means that university and research would have a shortcut, you know. So you watch TV, and at the same time you saw researchers on the roof protesting for the cut, and you could see Ruby, okay, and Ruby boyfriend saying, "Oh yes, Ruby used to have 7,000 euros." Okay, in the pocket, just, you know, for the little expenses.
So there was money.
Is this a civil country? What do you think?
We don't do that in Germany.
Something doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Something doesn't work.
So that's
because if you have researchers on the roof, and you have Ruby going around with 7,000 euro for the little expenses in the pocket, something is wrong in this country.
So there's not the money is there. It's only spent on bullshit instead of education.
Yeah.
So
sometimes.
But tell us about you have a paper. Tell us about your movement. Is it like, do you have a leader or is there no leader? Do you only like decide on your own? Is there a leader?
Is there a leader? Of course. Is there someone who is Beppe Grillo?
Who is that?
He is. He was a comedian. How do you say? A showman.
Oh.
A comic.
Yeah.
Not comic are peanuts.
Clown.
No, not at all. He used to be a showman. Okay.
Entertainer.
an entertainer, a humorist one, you know.
He's a leader.
Used to do satire upon politics and whatever. And for this reason, he was banned from public TV in the 80s, in the 1980s. And he started to
long
get...
ago.
Yeah,
Wow.
long ago. He started to get involved in environmental issues and in political issues. And in 2009, he founded, together with Gianroberto Casaleggio, the Five Stars Movement. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
I'm Italian in the end. You know.
It's real life.
Okay, real life. And
maybe Beppe is calling?
Maybe, no, I don't think so.
Do you talk to him?
He's very busy with the political campaign now. So
Is he in the parliament?
it's not in the parliament. No.
Why not?
It's not in the parliament because it was coherent to our principle of transparency and of whatever. And since he had a penal sentence in the past, so his penal, document is not white, completely white. He decided not to be a candidate for the political election.
So only candidates with
And
with
we
a
are,
white
but to go back to the question, we are an autonomous movement, but of course Beppe Grillo is our leader in the sense that he was able to make people stand up from that sofa and to start moving and to start being active. And he is our, microphone to the people. So in that sense, he is our leader.
So what he says is what you think? Or do you have different opinions in the party?
No, we are all working and we are all walking towards the same target.
Which is what?
But that the target to have a better society by doing some things, the things which are in our program for the national election last year. And that means to have to try to create a more sensitive and conscious society towards environmental issues in terms of protection from pollution and exploitation, for example. To have a better society and a more sensitive and conscious society towards the value of honesty, So all these things. That doesn't mean that we always agree with, mediatic, strategy, but we all agree with our program.
What's the program?
This is the program for the European election.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's made up of seven points. The first one is the abolition of the fiscal compact. The second one is the adoption of the Eurobonds.
Oh, you like the Eurobonds?
Yeah, we think that it could be a way of, maybe I can, if you want, I can.
No, we actually
we
did an episode
go
on
farther.
No, we didn't. We're going to show.
We are for
Okay.
the Eurobonds.
Okay. What else?
We are for an alliance between the countries of the Mediterranean for a common policy in terms of, for example, immigration. Because now immigration issues are left upon the shoulders of
Greece and Italy. And all
Greece,
that.
Italy, Spain, but mostly on Italy's shoulders. And so maybe if we, make an alliance among all these countries, we can be stronger when we talk about these issues at the table of the European community.
But isn't Europe the EU for that?
It's a European issue, but nowadays, in reality, actually, It is only an issue of the southern countries. So we would like to put the issue on the table for discussion at the European community. So if we make an alliance, maybe we will be stronger in making our voice be heard, be listened to by the European community.
You want to unite Southern Europe, but why not go united to the EU and say like, okay, well we agree on this, let's change it. Yeah, that will work.
I don't know if it will work, but maybe it will work. But now it doesn't work anything.
Yeah, I heard.
So something is better than nothing.
Right. Like I heard about.
It's just we are just trying. It's a tentative, to do something.
So, like I talked to a young conservative in Greece, and he was like, "Well, we have to change that too. Like the migration from Africa is terrible. They come on small boats with the people who get them there. They pay them money and all that." And I asked him, "Okay, well." I mean, he says that's not human. That's bad. I was like, okay, so what's the alternative? Maybe the EU should provide big boats, like huge ships, and go there every week and get them over. Would that be a solution? A more humane way.
I don't know what is the best solution, but I think that the first step to find a real solution, a working solution, is to try to talk about it. In a European level, but also that the European community must start to do something real to support us, really. Okay,
I mean,
in the process of finding solution, because we have the Frontex program, which is not working.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
No, I heard it's working good because they get rid of most of the migration even in Africa.
No. Where have you heard about it?
Well, we see it on TV. It's very inhumane. I mean,
yeah, it's inhumane.
The EU says we are a free country, and then we don't let people in.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
We must find other solutions.
So get rid of Frontex. Get rid of Frontex.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
What else we have?
We have the fourth point is investment in innovation and in new productive activities. And we ask to let them be out of the 3% of obligation we have due to the fiscal compact and mess and whatever.
Investment is not considered debt, basically.
Yeah, basically. Okay, thank you for the explanation. The fifth one is more financial resources for agriculture.
We learned that's the future for Europe. Agriculture, a new agriculture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the sixth is the abolition of the duty to have a balance in the public, account.
Mm-hmm.
And the seventh one is
like in Germany, it always says Merkel says, well, we have to do it like like a private woman, like who lives at home and she can't spend more money than she has. So you don't think that's comparable with a state budget?
We don't think it is comparable to a state budget. No, not at all. No. Not at all. Not at all. No. And finally, we have a referendum on the euro.
Why?
Because when we enter the euro, no one asked us if we were for the entrance to the Euro Union or not. So maybe at this point it is. You didn't?
No.
I'm sorry for you. But, the problem is that maybe euro works better in Germany than in Italy.
So I heard.
So you heard. So maybe now it's time for Italy to set up a referendum and to ask citizens what they want to do.
But usually.
Or maybe it would be. We have promoted a debate on it. We are still promoting a debate on it, and we would like to have a referendum to decide whether to stay in the union or not.
But do you guys have a position on the euro? Because like usually when people say we need a referendum on the euro, they're like anti-euro.
But we are still in the euro union,
Right.
so maybe the referendum would be eventually to come out from the euro union.
So
what we say is,
are you guys anti-euro? Because you want a referendum? So would you guys? How would you vote in the referendum?
I don't know, because
You don't know
we must talk about it properly, We must have a proper information. We must have someone who says us, okay, if you stay in the Euro Union, these are the possible landscapes, sceneries. If you go out, these are the possible sceneries, landscapes. Now just read it, study it as an adult citizen should do, and then just make a referendum and you will be free to say, I want to stay in the Euro Union, I want to go out.
I mean, on the other hand, the euro is there. I mean, that's one accomplishment of Europe. Maybe let's make a referendum on the next steps that need for a currency. If you have a common currency, you also need a common political system. I mean, we don't have that in Europe so far. There's no there's no checks and balances.
Monetary union. We are not a union in terms of civil rights, of political, issues, of many things, and immigration issues is just one example. For example.
Right. So as I was saying, maybe the euro is there, if we like it or not. Maybe for the next steps, there needs a political union. So maybe a new European treaty. Why not make a referendum on that? Like, okay, if first we get a treaty or find a treaty and then make a referendum on it.
Maybe it could be it could be a step, but as you know, the Five Stars movement just talk about things on the web, and so we could put this issue on the web for discussion, and we could vote what to do. Yeah, it could be.
What about Grillo? Is he anti-euro? Grillo? Is he Beppe?
Beppe? Is he what? Against or for euro?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. You should ask Beppe.
Well, shouldn't you know?
No? Why?
No? What?
He is critical to the Euro Union. Okay? Okay, and he wants a referendum because we think that the referendum is the best instrument we have to ask people, okay, and to exercise the direct democracy, which we are inspired to. But I can't speak on behalf of Beppe Grillo.
But at the end, the euro is very an economic. You have to really understand economics. Can the whole population understand how economics work and then decide on the currency?
It depends on the word you use. If you use technical words aimed to foolish people, they can't understand. But if you use simple words aimed because you want the people to understand, the people can understand.
How would you describe in simple terms the euro situation?
We have a monetary union. Upon this monetary treaty, we have a common currency, but when they made the conversion, the change, maybe something went wrong.
Maybe.
And some countries were penalized by this, the change they use to, the currency exchange they decided to use to get the euro be the common currency, We are in the position of the countries which were penalized by it.
But
maybe also because not so virtuous practices in Italy itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not only a question of euro, it is also a question of our politics and whatever. But this is the fact, this is the reality. We are penalized, so we must do something.
Did Italy have any advantages because of the euro?
Okay, I'm not an economist, so maybe
For ordinary people. Did ordinary people have advantages with the euro?
Ordinary people, I don't see so many advantages, because prices doubled, but at the
wages as well?
No, wages remain the same. Oh. So when wage remains the same, but prices doubled, it means that your wage is less powerful in terms of buying things.
Right.
Okay. Right. And we are not talking about earrings or necklaces. We're talking about breads, food, health, medicine, That's no good.
But I mean, inflation, that's what inflation is about. Things get always more expensive.
Yes.
Like my mom in Germany, she has the same wage for 15 years. I mean, things get more and more expensive, but she still has the same wage. And she doesn't think, well, it's the euro. Maybe it's the...
But what about conversion?
Well,
what about the prices in Germany?
They got up.
But they doubled? Did they double?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
But my point is maybe it's the economic policies that are the root of the problem, not the currency.
Maybe you are right, but some economists say that one of the problem is also the euro in terms of as I said, the currency change. Okay, so why don't we have to open a debate and to talk about it?
But I mean,
maybe at the end of the debate we will realize that the euro is not a problem. Okay.
And maybe we should start having a debate before something is decided, like maybe.
We didn't have it.
Right. But
as always.
So maybe we learn from the euro disaster, or maybe it's not a disaster, but maybe next time we do something very, very big in Europe, the next time we ask the people, so something like the euro problem doesn't occur.
Exactly. Because one of the problem in Italy is that we don't have debates on the important issues which are going to affect everyday life of ordinary people.
Well, the politicians have a debate.
Yeah, politicians are, I don't know if I can anglicize a Latin word, but are autoreferential, They talk about themselves, they think about themselves. They rarely put themselves in the shoes of ordinary people, because, politics affect ordinary people's life. In the end.
So in the end, maybe do you have a message for our German viewers to tell them what they should know about the Grillo movement and why you are in Italy's parliament?
I was in Germany last week. I was taking part to the G8 and G20 Youth Forum, and I realized that we are all a big, great community, and we must start thinking in this way. So if we want to have a real European community, we must start having an European mind frame. And we must start exchange ideas, and we must get in touch more and think that we are a global community, and we must start thinking about everything in a global frame. We are not fascist. We are ordinary people who believes deeply in democracy.
Grazie. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.